Welcome to this explainer on DP-800 Module 6.3. Today, we're going to tackle the absolute toughest AI troubleshooting scenarios you'll see on the exam. I want you to think of yourself as a database crime scene investigator. We aren't just glancing at those surface-level AI symptoms, we're digging deep into the metadata to find out exactly where the system broke down. Here's our quick agenda. We'll cover the AI troubleshooting trap, then dive into 3 specific traps: stale embeddings, dimension mismatches, and distance metrics. Finally, we'll wrap up with the DP-800 golden rule. Let's get right into it. Section 1. The AI troubleshooting trap, securing the perimeter first. Okay, let's set up our crime scene. You've just integrated an amazing AI capability into your SQL database, but suddenly, the results are completely off. So, let's say you're hit with this exact DP-800 practice scenario. Why does semantic search quality drop after source data changed? It's a high-pressure question, right? The business is complaining that the AI is spitting out bad answers. What's your immediate first move? Notice the stark contrast here between instinct and reality. The natural instinct, and a very common exam trap, by the way, is to interrogate the prime suspect. You think, well, the AI model is acting up, so let's just tune the prompt or change the language model entirely. But the correct database reality, you have to check the foundational evidence first. If the underlying data structure is broken, literally no amount of prompt engineering will save you. You must verify embedding freshness and dimensions before doing anything else. Moving right along to Section 2. Trap 1, stale embeddings, or investigating the maintenance pipeline. Let's see how a dropped search quality might actually just be a victim of a stale embedding. In any AI-integrated database, a maintenance trigger is your data's heartbeat. It's the refresh mechanism, like change tracking, CDC, or maybe a SQL trigger that detects when source data has changed and fires off a job to regenerate the embeddings. If that heartbeat stops for any reason, your embeddings instantly fall out of sync with your actual data. Your AI is essentially searching through a ghost town of outdated information. To solve this at the root, you need to follow these exact execution steps in this specific order. First, check change tracking or CDC. Is the change source actually enabled and capturing changes? Second, validate consumer lag. Is the process that generates the embeddings actually running, or is it backed up and missing its target window? And finally, confirm fresh embeddings by directly querying the database. On the exam, you're going to be heavily tested on the order of operations. A classic distractor will tell you to rebuild the vector index before checking data freshness. Listen, if you choose that, you've fallen for the trap. Rebuilding an index on stale data, that just gives you a highly optimized, super fast search of the completely wrong information. The correct action is to query your freshness timestamp, like a last embedded at column, to definitively prove the data is current before you even think about touching the index. All right, Section 3. Trap 2, dimension mismatches, checking the shape of the evidence. So what if the data is fresh, but the search is still rejecting or misranking rows? That brings us to checking the actual shape of our evidence. Vectors aren't just random strings of data. Every vector has a strict geometric shape, known as its dimension, which is entirely dictated by the model that generated it. For example, one model might output an array of 768 floating point numbers, while another model outputs 1536. This is a hard mathematical contract. If the stored vector length doesn't perfectly match the required embedding dimension of your index or your retrieval query, things break down rapidly. The symptom you'll see is that the vector search rejects queries outright with errors, or even worse, it silently fails at nearest neighbor retrieval, handing you totally irrelevant results. It's literally like trying to fit a 1500-dimensional squared peg into a 700-dimensional round hole. It just won't work. So the crucial takeaway here is this. When retrieval fails, you must inspect the vector metadata. Check the stored length against the model's required dimension, and ensure all populated rows match that exact required length. You absolutely must run this version-aware SQL verification on the vector metadata before adjusting the search algorithm. Which leads us to Section 4, Trap 3, distance metrics, or when the math doesn't add up. Our final trap at the crime scene involves the mathematical ruler we use to measure similarity. Let's look at what happens when the math just doesn't add up. A distance metric defines how close 2 pieces of data are in multidimensional space. The most common ones you're going to encounter are cosine similarity, dot product, and Euclidean distance. If you use a metric that doesn't align with how your embeddings were trained or normalized, you get this phenomenon called rank inversion, where the least relevant documents suddenly bubble up to the very top of your search results. And depending on where the mismatch actually occurs, your failure state completely changes. If the metric mismatch is at the vector column level, say you're using an unsupported distance formula on unnormalized data, you get distance function errors or totally irrelevant nearest neighbors. But if the mismatch is at the vector index level, meaning you chose an index algorithm that doesn't support your specific metric, the system just defaults to a brute force scan. That results in massive latency spikes and incredibly poor recall. When these metric failures happen, an exam distractor might try to tempt you to increase chunk sizes, assuming the AI just, needs more context. But you must not act without evidence. The correct action is to test your keyword retrieval and your vector retrieval separately. This isolated testing is the only way to prove whether the vector distance output itself is failing before you start tweaking text chunks. And that brings us to Section 5, the DP-800 Golden Rule. Prove the dependency chain. We've thoroughly examined the evidence at our crime scene, so let's synthesize this into a foolproof, repeatable strategy for your exam preparation. The operational flow for absolutely any DP-800 troubleshooting scenario dictates a strict three-step process. Step 1, observe the symptom at the owning object, like checking the index metadata or the freshness column. Step 2, prove the dependency chain. Verify that the maintenance trigger is actually feeding the embeddings. And Step 3, only then apply the smallest possible fix. Never ever make a broad architectural change when a narrow metadata fix is what the evidence points to. I want you to keep this exact quote from the source material burned into your mind on test day. Do not tune vector search before validating embedding freshness, dimension, source columns, and chunk boundaries. Never jump to AI-level tuning before securing the database infrastructure. It is the #1 trap designed to catch developers who rely on guesswork rather than cold, hard database evidence. So, run through this rapid-fire mental checklist of foundational evidence before selecting any multiple-choice answer that suggests changing code or models. Check your freshness timestamp. Verify dimension consistency. Confirm your selected text fields are accurate, and measure your change capture lag. This checklist is your absolute shield against the exam's trickiest distractors. I'm going to leave you with this question to ponder as you continue your studies. If an AI feature fails, are you being distracted by the shiny AI symptoms, or are you doing the real detective work investigating the hidden database control points? Always follow the evidence, stick to that dependency chain, and you are going to ace this section of the DP-800. Thanks for joining this explainer, and happy troubleshooting.